Welcome to How to Connect with Humans. This is Series 4, Episode 6. And hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
We have here somebody that we both love very much.
Absolutely.
We have been friends for many years. Probably we were trying to find out how many years, probably 8 years or something.
I'd probably say around that.
Around that.
Yeah.
And he's all the way in Norway and is a very dear friend. We have grown together, even if sometimes we are not so much in contact, but we still feel really, really connected. So Kjetil Haugmo is here. He's somebody's calling him, and he's gonna talk about being present from the heart. So Kjetil, if you can hear us. Hello and welcome, and it's so nice to have you here. Um, so, present from the heart.
Thank you so much. So that's I don't know. I'm sorry. Somebody called me in. At the moment, I was so sorry, but I also feel really grateful. We had such a beautiful time together for I think it's 7 years ago that we met in a 3P education in just outside London, and we just had this beautiful year together. Just seeing so much new and just I don't know, it was just lovely. And when when Divyesh Div, Divyesh when he said, I just just try to live or look at life with love, it just gave me a memory of our time together with I don't know if you remember when we had Carol Burrows as a mentor. Maybe some other people here know her as well. So when Carolina and I were together in this education, we had her as a mentor. And for the time, or at that time, I was really struggling in my business, and remember uh, asking her, can you please show me a strategy so that I can, get my business up there, get it to work really well. And she was like, sorry, I can't do that. And I was like, oh man, why am I even here? I just want to build my business, man. And I love the feeling, but I really wanted to build my business. So, and I remember as she was talking and sharing about the principles and what the principles had done for her, what it had meant for her, we were so touched, so moved. She was crying. I don't know if you remember, Caroline. She was crying, just tears popping out of her eyes. It was, and she looked at me and she said, love will help you build your business. And I was just like, man, it just hit me like so hard. And I'm like, afterwards also, I'm like, okay, that seems like a good idea, but it's more than an idea. That story just came to mind when Divyesh said, love will help you build your business, or love will help you build your life. So I want to talk a little bit about love, being present from the heart. And to me, oh man, where should I go? We talked about this, Carolina, before we were on. I don't really have a plan. I don't have a step by step here, so I can talk from everywhere right now. But I maybe I can begin with one of the stories that I share sometimes regarding what brought me into this. What made me become a coach. And I have been working professionally as a coach for the last 16 years now. But before that, for about, I think it's about oh man, the time flies. I think it's 18 or 19 years ago now. Even 20 almost. I don't know. 19, 20 years ago, I was sentenced to, or I got in prison for I had sold drugs, and I got one phone call, and who do you call? You have to call your mother. So I called my mother, and it was just the worst phone call. Oh, oops, that I had in my life. I lost
It's your
lost you there. I touched
it's
2 seconds.
okay.
I'm back.
I love
um, so, well, so I just, I told her that I'm not coming home for a little while, and she was just gasping for air when I told her I was in prison and wasn't coming home for a while, and and I just had to hang up the phone. And after that conversation, I was just really, I went into the cell. I don't know if you call it the cell, and and my heart just opened up, like it was just like my shoulders, my heart, and I just knew there was a knowing, just a glimpse of something bigger than myself, just knowing that, okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to stop this that I'm doing, and I'm going to do what I can to make this right again, and I'm going to learn how I can become the best version of myself. So, and I can see back now, I know that that was a glimpse into something deeper than my personal mind, because my personal mind was at the time so full of insecure thinking, all those psychological viruses of doubt and insecurity was just filling up my mind. And so, but I got a glimpse of, how are you present from your heart? I knew from that, because it changed my life, and the direction that I was going. But still, I was lacking the understanding. I did not know, how, how can we be present from our hearts? I knew that it changed me. I knew that it sent me in a direction, but I didn't have the understanding um, to really see how it works. So I might share a little bit about that. I don't know if you want to hear a little bit about what I see regarding that. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And what I love of what you were saying is that also before we started, we were saying to Jekyll that we feel that we feel so moved to have you here because we feel that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for some of the people that also that opened their hearts next to us when we were starting our journey. And sometimes uh, we talk about this feeling and this beautiful feeling of being present and and what life is now. The beginning was hard, man. It was hard. Like there were moments that we were sort of so confused, and it just changes your whole world upside down. At least it did it for me. Um, and I remember were sort of, you came into the group and you were like, "Yeah, I'm going on tour with this book. It's a bestseller, and now, I'm not sure what I'm talking about in that book." So, um,
Mm.
so how did you come to know about the principles, and how was that? Because I think the beginnings and how your heart opened to these journeys is a beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful thing to share. Um,
Thank you. Well, that's a beautiful question. I'd love to answer that, because well, I was searching. I was searching to try to find, because I knew from that glimpse that I had power, that I had certainty, that I had a knowing, that I knew what was right for me to do. But I didn't feel like that most of the time. I just felt really insecure. And but there was something inside me that, just it just took me in the right direction. So I was really searching to understand and searching to learn. And so I just studied all kinds of different personal development strategies and methods and tools and NLP and hypnosis and just all kinds of stuff to, because I thought, I didn't know myself as well. So I thought I needed to fix myself. I thought I needed to work on myself. I thought there was something wrong because I was feeling so insecure a lot of the time. And and I found all these techniques and tools, and they helped me along the way. I felt better. I felt um, more hopeful, from traditional coaching and personal development tools. But what really changed me or what led me into this direction was actually a meeting with um, Eirik from Norway, who is together with Mara and One Solution. And, he was, my book had just come out and it had done well in Norway. And, I had about, that year, I had about 70 speeches or something with the book. And I had some success. And then Eirik called me, and he's 9 years younger than me, and I was in my ego head thinking, if anyone's going to teach anyone something, it's going to be me teaching him, you know. And I was so when your ego gets a little bit, um because I met him, and the feeling that he was in, and I feel emotional as I say it, just because he was so not in his ego. He was just so open, so um, connected with himself and me, and listening deeply, just wide open. He was not in his head. He was for sure in his heart, just being there with me. Not, in my ego mind, uh, in some ways, believing I was better than him because I had achieved more in my own mind. I was comparing, I was in my head, but he wasn't. And he told me, because I was like, oh, and we were kind of talking about how do you become your best version? How do you really do that? And I was like, yeah, you just add this and change that and work on that. And, and he was like, well, I hear you. I used to do like that. Uh, and now my ego was really running, right? Because yeah, you used to you got something better, and and he said, I used to do that, but then I realized that, it's not about adding stuff. It's about peeling it off and just getting to the core of who we are. And I was like, man, that's too simple, and he left, and I was like, man, that young little kid, how can he tell me this? I was provoked. I didn't like that. But I could not deny the feeling that he was in. His feeling was so full of presence and love, and just, he was my friend, um so I just saw that, okay, I need to go in that direction. I just really need to go in that direction and explore uh was sharing, because the feeling that it was in was, my soul was screaming for that. That was what I wanted to see. That was what I wanted to experience. That's how I wanted to be, just relaxed and heartfelt about life, you know? So that's what brought me into this. That's just before we met, Carolina, and then I just started my journey after that. So yeah.
And it got you so curious that, Wayne was driving me from where we are in Asheville, which is about whatever, like an hour and a half or 2 hours to where we were having a course. But you were flying in. You were coming for the weekend. So that's how curious you got about this.
Yeah.
You just knew this was a new. Some of the people I trained with Ian Watson and Carol Burrows, decided to put together this training for a year with amazing. Um, we had amazing teachers during those weekends. It was once a month, I think, and we will spend time with them, like sometimes like the whole day, or we have one on one day and one on the other day, or we have like Jackie Ford and have Janet Riney. Have I think most people that were in that course have been here in this series, and it was awesome. But I was like, I think that drive is a long time to get to here. But he's coming all the way from Norway, and then obviously we were like, after every weekend, um, and then slowly but nicely, you were getting to some place that people were curious about you, and somehow Michael Neal started getting curious about Norway, and am I right? And so because when we hear Michael Neal talk about his own way on finding about the principles, it's quite, he had a book that was out, was quite, in a way, it's, similar to your experience. Like, no, I'm going that way. No, oh no, we're going this way. So how was that? Because for Erik, it was sort of starting to have a bit of a say in Norway, and in that, and the relationship with Mara just about was starting. It was not even there when he started talking about the principles, and then suddenly you started getting noticed, and that's what I saw from outside. And people got curious about how is Kjetil in this state of mind, in this beautiful space, in this. So how was that for you? That gradually, somehow you were like, I'm not sure how this is happening. I remember that. I remember.
Well, it's a beautiful question. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Something came to mind. A couple of stories came to mind. I think this is really relatable to taking that journey from your head to your heart, more. And so this year for me, that we, had together, it was just one of the most transformational years that I've had, looking back. And you were mentioning Janet and also what's her name?
Chantal was there.
And Chantal Burns. So
I totally cared with Chantal. We had Jackie Ford. We have Tony. We have Ian as well. We had, and then we even had, were you there? We even had Jenny, when they were in Nepal. They were, Jenny was with Rudy and Dave in Nepal when they met. Okay, so they were there and we had them on video. And Lahima, thank you. So things, a lot of things were sort of starting.
Yeah.
And this having Zoom meetings wasn't so, known for everybody. So yeah, and with Janet, I didn't see the picture of Janet. I knew we had some teacher, and I usually arrive really early. I like arriving early, being sure I'm in the place early. So I get there, I'm talking to the other guys, and there's this lady that, she's like, yeah, we're talking. Oh, she's very nice. And then everybody starts arriving. And then she goes like, well, okay, I think we should just stop talking and let's sit down. And I think, who does she think she is?
Yeah.
She's really bossy. I don't like her anymore. And then I start slowly, very slowly realizing that this is actually Janet and she's the speaker. She's our mentor for that day.
Yeah, I remember your reaction. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was funny. Oh man, it's it's so easy to get up into our heads. And I, regarding Janet, I really, I got another punch in my ego. You know? Oh man, I didn't know this was going to be about my ego and my punches in my ego, but let's go. Because I had just, before I came down, we were at dinner, and while we were at dinner, you guys didn't know me, and I was still wanting to be a hotshot from Norway, right? So I kind of, my ego wanted you guys to like me for being, I don't know, I when I looked deeper into it, I was insecure. I was insecure, and I wanted you guys to think good of me. So I thought you guys would think better of me if I had achieved some cool stuff. So at dinner, I told I told, oh yeah, I just had this speech for 150 women, and and I kind of, it was true, but it was also like, yeah, look at me, I got, I've done this, and just look how cool I am, and and I just, Janet looked at me, and she told me something that made me shut up, and she just told me that, okay, I'm so glad that I have this understanding, because now I know where people come from, when they say what, or when they share what they say. And it was kind of harsh, but at the same time, it was, yeah, it was useful to me to see, where am I coming from? Am I coming from my head or my heart? And so it was just really seeing what matters, seeing what's real, and I got another punch from Chantel, if you want to hear. It was the same. I was still, trying to impress people, and I tried to impress her with my book. I knew she had a bestseller, and I was like, I got a bestseller too, and then and I was sneaking it in, kind of, when we were talking, so she could think that I was a great person of some kind, special. Um, and the look that she gave me, I don't know if you looked into a dead fish before. She doesn't look like that normally, but her eyes was just so not impressed. And she told me, "Oh, so you had some success." And I was like, "Oh man, it really doesn't work to impress these three principals guys with my achievements at all, does it? You know?" But it was really, to me, that was really valuable to hear that, even though it didn't feel good at the time, but it made me look where I'm coming from, if it's my head or my heart. And so I still, I must admit, I don't. Okay, so do I want to look good or bad? I'd prefer looking good. uh I still do. But really, I know that my value, and yeah, so being good enough and being valuable enough is not about your achievements or, looking good. It's about, just loving people and loving yourself, and just knowing that you're born good enough. So it's just, yeah, it changed me, even though it was my ego didn't like it. And but it was really nice. So that was some of the year. I do have some, yeah, something more that happened actually that year that came to mind. But I'll stop. I don't want to just keep going, but I can keep going. So, but is there any questions or thoughts?
Well, it seems so far like talking about the ego, it's going very well with it, with the comments. So, and I think it is very relevant because, you know, talking about separate realities. So this is a part of that you may not have known about that time, but it seems to keep coming along. So you guys are, you're saying Jet is sitting down, but he's quite tall, okay? He's not hard to the eye. He's really attractive, handsome, and so suddenly this door opens in our training for the first time. Marina's laughing, and he's there's no way he would be unnoticed, and his presence is beautiful as well. So he comes in and he's like, well, who is this? The ladies are like, whoa, who is he? Who is he? And oh, and he's came from Norway. Oh, he's this exotic, beautiful, Adonis that came from Norway and just landed in a group, and it's and here he is, insecure that people would like him, and we were already like, yeah, whatever, like we like you, like, and then he starts talking, and it's this beautiful person and this super lovely, connected, kind person, and then he will share something or ask a question where I'm like, so what I'm saying is we have to get there to start seeing who we really are. Like, people could be watching this on the video or be here and think, okay, obviously he's sure of who he is, successful and happy with his life, and everything will always go fine for Kjetil. But it wasn't your experience. That wasn't your experience. And I didn't know that wasn't your experience.
Yeah. Wow. Oh man, yeah. My ego liked a lot of what you said now, to be honest. But also, it's so true. It's so true. because I didn't, I didn't say anything about that, but I got so many flaws, or I've had so many challenges, and one of them was social anxiety. you know it was huge for me, so huge. I was so up in my head, just not being present at all. Just being present to. I just got back to school now. I just remember being at school in primary school, I think it's called in English, just the first school, and I could not listen because my mind was so filled up with I don't know how to listen. I don't know how to understand. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I just had all these doubts and insecure thinking that to me was true. And I was like, okay, so I just have to look at the people beside me. I had given up, so I was just filled with so much insecure thinking. And it made me really shy and insecure, and just holding back on myself, not feeling engaged, so but so I just but I'm so grateful now for this understanding, because um, it showed me how it all works. Why what happened wasn't because I wasn't smart, wasn't because I was social anxiety, wasn't I was not, the to say felon, or prison guy, or I don't know. I wasn't a criminal. I wasn't, that I thought I was kind of my actions. So I was just so filled up with guilt and shame and insecurity in my mind. My mind was just filled up with all kinds of crap about myself, and in my mind, it was true. Um, but I realized this was I don't know if you remember, or maybe somebody else has been there, but bringing the principles to business. Do you remember that? Aaron and Mara and Barb, the
Yeah,
same year
yeah,
that
yeah,
we
yeah.
were,
That same, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, and then I had probably my biggest insight, just, um, and it was like, as we're talking about being present from the heart, I just saw, because I was listening to Aaron, Barb, Mara, and I was evaluating them, like judging them a lot, being in my head, right? Who's better? Are they good, bad? Are they funny, not funny? Do I like them, not like them? Are they smart? I was just my personal thinking was just running on and off all the time, or on all the time. And then suddenly, I've known my life that I have judgmental thinking. I've known that, um, but I never saw it as deeply as I did in that moment. And I just suddenly, my thinking just stopped, and I felt this beautiful feeling inside. It was just coming from I don't know, it was just from the tip of my toes, and just all the way through my body, and just feeling that I'm super connected to everyone and everything. And then, you know, I knew that I had found what I was searching for, that behind my conceptual mind, or my personal mind, my thinking, is who I really am. And I know that on the inside, further in than my personal mind, is love. That's we are love. Every one of us are love, and I saw that to be true. And now I've just seen it in so many other people that I've had the chance to work with. We are love. There's nothing that we need to fix. There's nothing wrong with us. All my insecure thinking were just like, not everyone, like Sid Banks is, I don't think it was as deep nearly to Sydney Banks, but, to me, it was like, yeah, I know it's true now that inside of me and everyone is love. And the only thing that's happening is that I'm thinking myself away from it and believing it to be true. That's everything that's happening. So I just saw that, who we really are, and all these years that I've gone believing that I am what I've thought, not knowing that I am love and good enough and, just full of a lot of, oops. I was just almost my microphone. Anyway, just full of life and uh, just good feelings for life. That's who we are. And I'm not special in any other way. I know that everyone is like that, you know? So I don't have to try to be anything other than who I am. We don't have to try to be anything other than who we are. And I love that. And it's true. And it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I'll stop there. That was just what came to mind. So
I love that because for me, you've just really just reiterated what I was feeling at different times of my life, and it was only when I came across this understanding that I just saw that I wasn't broken, and it was actually Janet that pointed me towards that. And like you said earlier, she was a little bit harsh with it, but she gave me the kick I needed, and at the time, it wasn't what I wanted to hear. But now, it's for me, it's kind of like everything's fallen away. All my insecure thinking, the insecure thinking I had that I was broken, that having a disability was the end of the world, everything like that has kind of just fallen away. And even now, there's still times where I wouldn't say that will creep back in, but there's facets of it that I kind of see and kind of go, oh, okay, well that's not true. And I think it was like late last year that I saw that I didn't have to feel guilty for my disability. And it was after one of these sessions actually. And I remember driving down the dual carriageway and just filling up with tears. And Carolina was next to me going, you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. And I could not put it into words.
Yeah.
But it's that. It's just, it's when all your insecure thinking falls away, you can just be you. And that's what I've heard from what you've said tonight. It's been incredible.
Wow.
So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Amazing.
Should we open it up for questions?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So I'll do it to meet people.
Questions, or like Wayne just said, something that hits you, or if there's something that touches you in any way. Both are fine. I haven't really looked at the chat.
If you want to put your hand up, Claire. Or
Claire. Hello, Claire.
Hi. Is it Kjetil? Is that how you pronounce your name?
That's good enough for me.
Okay, cool.
But I can say Kjetil.
Kjetil.
Yeah, that's great.
I loved what you were saying, and I can really relate to it, and I'm sure everybody can actually. You know, haven't we all been there where we've sort of felt that we've got to impress people? Oh, you know, I've done this, and it's so common, isn't it? I mean, you hear these sorts of discussions all the time, but it's so interesting when you realize, when you see why people are doing that. It's almost sort of this sort of pressure to connect. Well, we think it's connecting with people in some way.
Yeah.
But it's not actually. It's sort of, I don't know. I'm not expressing myself very well, but yeah. But you see it a lot, don't you? I mean, I certainly have done it, and you know, I hear it a lot.
Man, yeah. Yeah, I think you're expressing yourself beautifully, you know, and it's so true. It's really, really nice to see that. And honestly, I'll be honest, I'm still on a learning curve on that. You know, I'm not, I still have an ego, and, but I've, you know, I've just seen it more in myself, just seen it more. So it just kills the feeling, you know. Just kills the feeling. So thank you for sharing that, Claire. Thank you.
Thank you.
Divyesh is asking, is saying, you're echoing my feelings of insecurity, words of wisdom indeed. Lovely to hear you. Would you talk about ruminating worry and addiction to worry? That's on the chat. So ruminating worry.
Oh yeah.
Addiction to worry.
Yeah, I think I can talk about that. Yeah. Well, I can, sure. I'm, you know, my mother she could have a gold medal in worrying. So that was how I grew up. You know, she just, she was just worrying for everything, you know, about me. And, you know, to this day, she does, you know, she hasn't really understood. She's still doing that, and I haven't reached her enough with that yet, but I'm still hoping that I will someday. But you know, but I grew up with that. Really, my mother was just worrying for me all the time, and I know that she didn't know that I adapted that, you know, but I did. I just started to worry, and in my family, what were on top of the worry list, you know, money. You know, money was really big on my worry list. And so I just went into life and just worrying about money. And, you know, and what happened with it was just that for me, it was just so natural. I didn't see it anymore. I was just doing it. And I remember, I think I had two changes on worry. My insight, what did I see? Well, firstly, this was an ex-girlfriend of mine that was like, really, for me, it was so normal to worry that I did not realize the impact I had on her or others when I was worrying. And then I could see her not taking this so good. And I was like, hey, that's okay. I'm just, you know, thinking about life. You know, you need to prepare. You need to have control over stuff. It's a good idea, you know? And so, but she was really not feeling like that. And, you know, I was always thinking about everything, trying to have control. It filled up my mind. with so much control.
Sorry.
That's all right. And then, that was the first thing, just seeing it a little bit more. And then I remember I had a conversation with, I think it was Barb Patterson once, and I was worrying about my business and stuff, and then she just really slowed down, and I just felt her loving me so much, and she said something like, "Do you know that uh, that's also your thinking? You know, it's not the business, it's not your bank account, but it's really your business, it's really your thinking. Can you see that?" And I was like, it was such a, I don't know, just a quiet moment, enough for me to, this is something serious here, something really serious here to have a look at, you know. And I don't know why or what, but I think it was the love that she was in that just, oh man, I'm really thinking up my worry as well. I really don't have to take that seriously. And what happened afterwards for me was that I just started noticing it so much more. I just started seeing it. I was on the shops, you know. Every time I was in the shop, I was, you know, contemplating on, can I afford this or that, and I was just worrying and overthinking, and I started seeing that. And I started, okay, I don't have to take that seriously. Oh, there it is again and again. And oh man. So I was just on a learning curve of seeing it and knowing that it was thought as well. And that I did not have to take it seriously, you know? And so for now, I just also, I can say something more about that, but you know, I worried and tried to control it because it was kind of my, I thought my security was in my control with my personal thinking. But I've seen now that I'm not in control, and my security is not in my personal thinking. I just see that it's in the unknown. You know, it's in not knowing how it turns out. That's where the certainty and the security is. I just seen that. I don't know how much money I will make this year. I don't know if I will even live this year. I really don't know. You know, I have no idea what's going to happen today or tomorrow, or, you know, but I know that the certainty is in not knowing and being okay with not knowing. So I don't worry so much anymore. I just don't. I see it and I know that, oh man, I'm just trying to figure this out with my personal mind, and it's just the wrong way. So I just know that the unknown, not knowing, is where to go. I hope that makes sense. Just for me, it makes sense. I hope it makes sense for you guys as well.
Yes, how was that?
Yeah, it's so lovely to hear you. Again, I won't even attempt to pronounce my name. Is everybody gets lost in pronouncing mine, so I know the feeling. So sorry about that. What's it? Sorry, just for my reference. How do you pronounce it?
Kjetil.
Kjetil.
Yeah, great, man. Spot on.
Okay, and I've got friends in Norway, and I read Norwegian authors like Karl Ove Knausgård and Hamsun and all the others, wonderful dark writers. The thing is, again, it's all very well to have intellect, but my intellect turns on me regularly. And I think Michael Neal pointed out once in one of his, it's like living in intellect is not the answer. And I've used this mode of living since I was in Insecurity, since I can remember, because that was my defense mechanism. High grades, high this, best universities, even till today. But there's a little difference in using intellect now, is with an intention to go where I find flow rather than the defense. However, the ruminating, the obsessive compulsive worry, I'm even looking up OCD disorder kind of worrying. I mean, this is like, it's bordering on the ridiculous, despite being in the three principles, all related, including I've done therapy, Jungian, this, and it all makes sense. But the sense was it made to come here to the principles and to people like you and Carolina and everyone to get this channel of your presence, which resonates with me. Now, I try to say, how do they get it? How come Kjetil is not worry free necessarily, but he sees the understanding, or rather than misunderstanding or worrying, and the understanding of presence within. And how come I can never? I get it for a day, maybe like today I might be just singing in our Sydney summer here or something, but it will go away as fast as that the minute insecure thought, particularly about the future, and financial insecurity, but based in projections and all the stuff you talked about, it comes alive and looks real. And then my go-to is to come to talks and then do the next best thing. And I can have ruminating going on and still watch a movie with friends and laugh. But inside there's a feeling of, this is just a facade, Divyesh. It's you're screwed. You're a goner, because next year this might happen and this might happen, and the busy thinking and all that. However, you listen to you. There is a way, and love and this, my constant need to control, to grasp, to be approved. It's so like all signs of total insecurity, fear of unknown, and scarcity thinking. So Lucy, I can talk about it. It's the living in the understanding that all that is actually not real and it's all useless, is where I am. But coming here, as I said earlier, showing up with love, you just give hope, and that's good. I mean, I'll take that for the moment. Sorry to go on.
Oh, that was beautiful. I loved it. Thank you for the openness, really just beautiful. And if I can say one thing, I don't think, how fast we see this. I don't know. I never know with, and but I just think that direction is the main thing, and I can hear that you see a lot, Divyesh, if I pronounce your name correctly. So I just hear that you see a lot, and just, for me, I've just been really, for me, I don't know, I have more to see. And I'm just curious about that. And I've seen now through the years that has gone, that I've seen more and more and more. And I just love to see more. And sometimes we never know when we see something new. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Kjetil. Yeah, Kjetil.
You're welcome.
I really love that, because I don't live free of worry. I don't. I worry a lot. And then for Wayne's like going, oh, poor dear, There she's saying again. You know, we're in it. And it came to me, and I don't know. And Divyesh, I hope I pronounce it right because I'm not.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And but it came to me, and I can be completely wrong. So please tell me if this has nothing to do with this. But I realize I have some sort of attachment to my culture from Argentina and the Latin style. Like we worry a lot. Like we come especially from like Italians and Spanish, but the Italians, oh my God, in the part of family, like they really worrying is important, you know, and doing things right and having mothers that are there like you will make us proud. And you know, I know very little, but I know a little bit about your background, and I may be completely wrong, but I feel sometimes that if I'm not worrying or I'm not being, this is something I realized just yesterday, how I'm not being so judgmental, and so the relationship in my family, especially like from my parents, is we're judging each other all the time, all the time, all the time. That's how we sort of like we're gossiping and we're judging and we're like, and then I realized, oh wow, I have a life now that my relationships are not really like that. I'm not thinking all the time of what's wrong with my daughter and what she should be doing better, or and she's not doing that with me. We are in general, not doing that. But I have that with Wayne a lot. There are moments I'm like, why is he not doing that? And why is he doing that? Why is that? It's many years and many years of being in that way of living. So when I catch myself doing something that I think, oh my gosh, I lost the principles. Like I'm now worrying and I'm thinking and I give myself a hard time. And then I think, and there you go, Carolina. That proves that you're a loser and that you'll never get things right and nobody's going to be proud of you because you can't even keep doing the principles all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody does the principles. So when you and me have a moment of that is, it just takes a little bit or anything we need to see to get through. And then, well, we worry 99% of the time, but 1%, we are in this beautiful feeling. That's huge for me. That's huge.
Yeah. Can I say something? Yeah, it's thank you, because what Kjetil talked about the direction, I can sense, like somebody quoted in the chat earlier here, that despite that, I'm just trudging or going in this direction of wisdom beyond the worrying and thinking, and your 1%, Carolina, that sort of shines through, not once even, maybe a few times a day. It's not like a constant sinking into, as I said, I show up, I do this, but the thing is, yeah, I guess I'm trying to just fed up with the whole overthinking, the energy drain, the exhaustion, but the hope remains that I'm going in the right direction, and particularly about the set series of insecurities, whether they're financial or relational or something. And I agree totally about, I grew up in a worrying household. Our Indian culture is similar. that you should do this and you should, and look at him and look at her and all this. Everything I did in my working life, and then I have my addiction. I went through my period of darkness and despair, and I've been 14 years clean of that. And so I keep on saying, oh, is it part of that isms of that addiction or something or the other? Or am I still not there? Am I there? What? All the thinking and all the insecurities and all the facades and all the defenses. And right now, when you guys talk, you give hope of love, of presence, of resonance, and the permission, which is also a thought, by the way, but still an internal permission to just be and fall apart, and all at the back, the love which I'm receiving and giving, and now I'm actually capable of receiving love a little bit. You're probably on the right.
I hope you're still here. You're still here?
Sorry, but you need to be in the middle of these conversations to have that feeling to go on. Sorry, I'm talking too much, so I'll just shut up. Yeah, thanks.
Not at all. Not at all.
Beautiful, man.
Sorry, Kjetil, we are like sort of using your time, but you know, I don't know if this is if you have an experience like this, Kjetil, but I think, DVH, this is good news. This is good news. The things that what happened for me is that the things that were really making my life miserable, like worry, got so loud and so much. But it wasn't that it was more. It's that now, because of the place I am in, now it seems so loud. Now it seems so much. Because now it's like somebody put the radio like, oh my God, I'm in the middle of a Metallica concert. And that is part of your ego going like, I can't take this anymore, and going, oh. So for me, that's good news.
It's sort of resisting your entering wisdom. It feels like that, isn't it? It's like, hey, hang on. I've had this for so long. I've been protecting you with worry and anxiety and all that. Where are you going? So it feels a bit like that.
I love that. That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's wonderful to get, if not reminders and presents from you guys.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Right. So, anything else? Any questions? Any comments? Anything? How are we timing wise? How much?
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing yourself so generously and allow us to watch as you punch your ego, because it's just so beautiful. Like, really, you make it look so simple and so unimportant that it's just like, well, yeah, that's just it, you know, like, so what? Nothing happens. We're just human. And it seems to me like when we connect from that humanness, from that simplicity, you give permission not only to be yourself to others, but to make mistakes and know that they are not. And so you give permission to also, quote unquote, forgive yourself, which is not a matter of forgiveness, it's just a matter of understanding, but you give permission to not take it seriously as well. you give permission to come back to center. And that is incredibly inspiring. So the only question I am left with is, when are you coming to Mexico?
Anytime. Anytime.
Like, okay, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, would love to come there for sure. Hang out with you, Marina, for sure. Yeah, thank you, Marina. That's really beautiful words. I always love to listen to you. You always have them beautiful words. So thank you.
You bring them out.
Yeah. The only thing that comes to mind as you were talking was just, I'm a sucker for, X Factor and talent shows and all of that stuff. I just love it. I'm just really love that. And I saw this woman or girl, I think she was 18, and if I remember correctly, I might just have fantasized this, but I think it's true what I'm saying. At least it's that in my mind, and she was, she was just thinking so beautifully about her life. Like she was in love with life, just really in love with life. And I just knew that this girl is going to be an amazing singer. You just felt it. You just heard it in her sense of love and okayness, and she was going on and she sang like an angel. It was just so beautiful. And I don't know, it's just what we're pointing to is it's a feeling of and what she said, or no, what the judge said was, you got something that not many people have. It's a star factor, but what it is, it's presence. You got presence, and that's what she had, and that's what we all have when we're just not listening to our personal minds. We got that star factor, everyone. It's just in the presence. People just sense it, see it, feel it. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have something else to say because.
All right, bring it on.
When both you and Carolina were talking about how someone delivers an ego punch, and you just know, right? Like they just sweep the floor off of you. But the truth is that we know when we are bringing the ego game. Like we maybe not before the understanding, but with the understanding, you so know when you're bringing in the ego game, right? And yet you sometimes decide to do it anyway, right? It never goes well. Never. I mean, even if it doesn't go bad, it could have gone better if you hadn't brought it in.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Yeah. Yes, like maybe nothing happens, but you still get that sense of, oh, man, that was just so lame of me. Right? Even if the other person doesn't notice, you're left with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, that has kind of become the measuring cup. As for, I can just be me, it's enough. Like, I don't need all this. I don't need the frosting on the cake. Right? I don't need the jewelry on the beautiful lady. I don't know. You see what I mean? It's like, no. It's not only that you are enough, it's that you are actually so much better than anything you could bring from ego. Like that star factor that you were talking about gets dulled, gets watered down when you're bringing ego. It gets covered. the only reason why we do it is insecurity. So we doubt ourselves in the moment. It's like, oh yeah, well, I have a bestseller as well. I'm so glad I don't, because I would use it. And I hope I never do. But you see what I mean? So, how do we bring, or how do you, Kjetil, bring that star factor, that presence? How do you get rid of insecurity? How do you not second doubt yourself? Do you see what I mean? Like when that insecurity comes in and you say, I'm going to bring this card in, how do you stop that? Besides compassion, you know?
Well, no, it's really simple. And I've, before I got on today, I was talking to Carolina and Wayne, and and I thought, oh man, I really don't know how to do this. How did they do this? And I haven't really prepared anything. And did they expect that I should have prepared anything here? And so I was going on a little bit, and for me, it's just to see it, really, just to see it and not go with it. It always goes away, it always goes away and something else comes in. And so just seeing it and knowing also that the unknown, just being totally open, that's what got my back, and I can feel, as I was going into, just listening, totally listening without listening to my personal thinking. I could just hear Caroline on what she was saying in the beginning. And, and I had some insecure thinking because you were here as well, Marina, because you're kind of, in my program, and, you're just this great mentor. And so I had some insecure thinking about that. I really respect you. And but I know not to listen to it, it just goes away, and it's okay that it's here. It just comes and goes. So, and I know that there's something deeper beyond that, that's so much more powerful, and it is love. And, I just, knowing love, knowing that that is the power, the real power, it's just, it triumphs or trumps ego every time. I just watched, just before I went on today, I watched this Darman. I don't know if you know Darman, but Darman is like Prince EA, just creating videos, and it was about this makeup woman, and just how, I'm not going to share all the story, but it was just, she was just, her skin wasn't perfect. She used herself as a model because she wanted to show somebody who wasn't perfect. She used not perfect models, but they were real, and her product was real. And it was just, and she had a vision about, she wanted to show what's really beautiful, just really show what's beautiful. And her vision was just so strong that it just moved me to tears. And she got rejected and rejected, but she kept going and just believing in what was true for her. And she got, and this is a true story. This was actually the story about, oh man, I don't know if I can remember, but I think the company came into L'Oreal, or so it was a true story of a woman just really listening to her heart, and believing in herself and not listening to the insecure thinking, because she got a lot of insecure thinking as well. So just not listening to it, knowing that beyond that in everyone is love, and it guides us through life. So yeah.
Thank you. That was very touching. Thank you. Really. I'm sorry that you had insecure thinking that I was going to be here, but I just need to love you more. So there you go.
I didn't just have insecure thinking that you were going to be here. I also had, oh man, I'm so grateful that Marina is coming. So I had both. She's actually supporting me. She's here with me, you know? So I'm so grateful for it. So I had both. I just didn't listen to the insecure thinking so long. So
Really wonderful to be here. Thank you.
yeah, likewise.
We have a little bit more, but so Ingun says this is very beautiful and hopeful for everybody, and then Rasmik said it's been a lovely hangout. Thank you so much. And Tatev says, thank you guys for this. And Kjetil, I'm glad to see you again after 4 years. And thank you so much to Kjetil and those who shared. What a lovely, insightful hour. Thank you so much. I really, Marina, when you said about we sort of like put all the makeup and all the stuff to make us look more appealing, and actually what we really are is so much more beautiful. That really, it nearly shot Wayne off the sofa. Yeah. You know, when it really hits you, he was like, I could physically see you go. And it's true, you know, like we just like, it's like when kids paint themselves, it's like we actually and we think like we're looking great and we'll actually look like clowns instead of like, you know, just showing our, that for me was like, and then it was great when you said about, you know, the security of seeing Marina coming in, and I just saw that, like, yes, like with people that I have admiration or also I compare myself to, or when I start going into that area, so many times like people come in the car, I'm like, oh my God, I hope we sound, you know, wise. But then I saw Claire's cat and I thought, oh, but what if I think, oh my God, Claire's cat is here. I really should put my A game, you know, because Claire's cat is here. I'm just like so made up. And I remember part of the thing, and now it's completely gone, but part of the thing on the first few months of Kjetil being on the group was all of us trying to say his name right. And then we will avoid saying your name. So it was like, hey, oh. So we didn't have to go through the process of being terrified of some, like, because you gave us some sort of helpful way of like, well, if you say she like or something and then till or whatever, and then we were like that whole process trying to say, would you like some coffee or are you going out for a sandwich? It was too much.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, we have laughed and we have had absolutely such an amazing time. So it's been too long. Kjetil.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
You too. And we had as always an amazing group here.
Absolutely.
This evening. So where can people find you, and what can they do work-wise with you if they want to contact you?
Well, I am in Norway, so but they can find me in Norway. But I do have a Facebook. But I have created an international site as well, just recently. So, but I haven't done much. I'm doing most of my stuff in Norway, but I've started now internationally. So I'm excited about that. I haven't done so much yet because I have a little bit too much in Norway, but I'm really excited about doing more stuff, beginning with my neighbors in Sweden after this autumn, or to the autumn probably, and just going to do more in English. I'm looking forward to that. So you can like my international site. You can like my Norwegian site as well. There is happening a little bit more there, but it's going to be Norwegian. But on Facebook, it's Kjetil Haugmo International. So if you like my site, it's possible to message me through Messenger.
So we'll
So
put
that's
that
the
link
best way.
underneath so people can find it on YouTube and on the group. And I'm sure there's a lot more going to be happening. We all volunteer to help you. I'm sure also Marina will be there if you need help. She's just and the rest of anybody here. Yes, you got your yes. So we'll be very happy to help you with that. And so you run 2 programs at the moment. Is that in Norwegian?
Yeah, it's in Norwegian for the time being. It will probably be, I'm not sure, but probably it will change to English. And, many of my mentors, Marina is one of the mentors in my program, and Linda Pettit, they're just different, beautiful mentors I have in my program together with me. And so most of the program is in English, but the people now are Norwegian. But maybe in a year's time we'll do everything in English. So we'll see where it goes. But so I have a 6-week program that I take people through, and I have a 6-month or 1 year or 2 years, and I have a community with people that that I work with. So, but for the time being, if anybody listens to this and want to speak to me one-to-one, I'm open for that in English. I don't have an English programs for the time being, but it's possible to speak with me one-to-one. So yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for.
We're gonna have to bring you back at some point.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all the comments and questions, and I didn't say hello to you, Tatyev, as well. It's nice to see you as well. Just I don't know, yeah, just love to hang out with you guys. Lovely to see Carolina and Wayne again as well. It's been too long. It's lovely to see you guys and everyone else. So thank you.
And next week, please join us again. We're going to be on Wednesday, but a bit earlier, probably a bit too early for you, Divyesh. It's going to be at 5 o'clock in the UK. We're going to have an early one. But if you fancy waking up in the middle of the night, as you sometimes do, so that's going to be 5 p.m. And the event is already created. We're going to have Elaine Hilides, and she's going to talk about happy with cancer. And as she says, happy with cancer is not that she's gone through cancer twice already in her life. She knew about the principle. She came across the missing link by City Banks about was in 2009, and so she says it's like it's not happy to have cancer, but it's being happy despite of it. And she's just gone through it again. So it's very fresh. This time we have the opportunity of actually walking it with her. And it's been absolutely amazing. So if we can bring a little bit of hope, either like today or like in any of our episodes, I think this one also is going to bring a lot of hope. So it would be lovely to see you then. And if not, you can always catch up with the recording. Thank you so much to everybody here.
Thank you.
For being here. And well, we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.